What up, y'all? What up? What up? What up? Uh, what's up, cappers? What's up, breadwinners? I lost a little mojo since the live stream on the Black channel, but uh, I realized I gave I gave out some bad picks, gave out some good ones too. It's all about how you want to look at it and which picks you chose to take. I definitely gave out some losers, especially the Tiger game. That was my best pick. You know, I was wrong on that. But check this out. I kept saying I like the first three games under and the last game over. So those three games went under, and the last one pushed on the over. So before we get going, before DJ pop up, just go over some of the stuff that I had real quick. You know what DJ and Buck Wild, aka JoJo, was telling y'all always be one short. So I didn't do the long ones today. I did some short ones. Thanks to Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis hit on some of my picks yesterday, so he looked out. So I bet today. Him and Hollywood looked out, so I was able to bet today. But I lost. I lost, y'all. I lost. Hold on, no. Hold on, no. As Jerome Wallace said, I lost. That's bottom line, I lost. A losing ticket don't matter. But just want to show y'all something real quick. So right here, I took the over on the strikeouts. Remember, I was saying over on the strikeouts, the Royal pitcher. This was plus money, and it turned out it was plus money because it was a bad bet. But number one, good looking out, Derek Lewis, on the you winning on them parlays. Look, the cold part about this bet right here is I got several people text me saying that the umpire was not giving this dude the calls. He actually could have had three more strikeouts. This bet actually should have won. Could have, should have, would have don't count. But if the umpire wasn't cheating him, this is actually a winning ticket. I took the over 3.5 strikeouts, and I took that all these dudes on the Yankees would not score a run because I figured the Yankees wouldn't score a lot of runs, and if they did, it would be their big three, and that's exactly what happened. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 out of 6 on that ticket, man. Plus 1,100 on there. Now I'm gonna hit you with one more, right? Just the one I really was sweating. I thought was gonna be a winner. Paid decent money too. All right, so this right here, my go-to right here. I had the over on the Dodger game. Remember, I kept telling y'all last game over, so that pushed. Remember, I said this fool was a bum pitching for the Padres. Kept telling y'all he's a bum, so I took him under 4.5 strikeouts. That won. I took Otani over 2 hits or a total bases. He only got 1 hit. Then I took Fernando Tatis, the same thing. Of course, that hit. I took the under. This is what I told y'all. The under on the Phillies game, the under on the Yankees game, and I had already lost the Detroit game, so that's why that game is not on this ticket. So once again, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, 5 out of 6. So I went 5 out of 6 on both of those tickets, man. The one day Otani can't get busy is the day I should have took Mookie Betts, man. But hey, it is what it is. What up, y'all? How y'all do today? Derek Lewis say he hit 2 parlays a day on hockey. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I'm slipping. I didn't know the Dodgers was facing elimination. Yeah, and they had 2 bum pitchers. Unfortunately for the Padres, they couldn't score off the Dodger pitching. Yeah, man, that's who got me. That was the Kansas City pitcher right there, man. But they was cheating. I'm sure you watched the game, man. You know how many third strikes they didn't call on that boy? And then the cold part, the manager took him out the game. So baseball changed, man. I'm used to baseball. I'm used to managers leaving pitchers in, man. Like when Kershaw was losing, Kershaw was throwing 7 and a third innings or 6 and 2/3. Man, they pulling these pitchers out after 4 innings now, man. It's hard to win like that. So That's another reason why I hit some of those other unders. I hit I hit a couple of other unders because the damn on strikeouts because of which was on my Cleveland Indian ticket that lost. But these managers are pulling these dudes out the game quick. But say Raiders. Uncle Buck, you a Raider fan, not we. Oh, she changed it up to 213 now. 213 in the building. I don't see Go Young DJ today. But it's all good. So I got one little small piece of bad news for this channel. So a year has went by, so they wiped out all my watch hours from last year. So now we got set back. We're back to 800 watch hours now. So I need 2,200 watch hours. They didn't kill us off, man. They didn't kill us off because it's been over a year. So, man, got to put more work than I even expected over here on this channel, man. There's 213, you a traitor. We Los Angeles. I don't know. She in between LA and Vegas. I think the Seahawks will upset the 49ers tomorrow. It's a good possibility. I like your thinking, though, because you know 49er fans think they're going to win every game. Stug shots don't want no smoke, but since Kelmac always got to remind me I'm Easty. That's because you always say I don't even play the Easty card unless it's a good joke. But I don't do that. You know, I spent a lot of time on the east side when I was young. That's where my father, my aunties, and my cousins lived at. But because you say it all the time is the only reason why I hit you with that Easty line today. If the Niners go down, their season is a wrap. Not necessarily. Them and the Chiefs survived last year. They'd be all right. I learned I'm not betting even number over unders anymore. I'll just change it. But if it's an even number like tonight, it was a push, so it wasn't a bad thing. You don't lose unless you playing with a bookie. And if you play with a bookie, will tie lose, get rid of them quickly. In a hurry, get rid of them. Don't play with nobody that's gonna take away your odds or your chances of winning, man. Don't do it, man. It's not a good thing. But yeah, I mean, as many losers as I gave out, you got to realize I gave out a lot of picks yesterday, and was still on point with a lot of them. Didn't lose no over unders that I gave out yesterday. Bet MGM is cheating you if they doing that, my brother. For real, they cheat. Tobias Shakur, I mean, when you give it out a million picks, yeah. But and some of them picks wasn't my picks. I mean, they was my picks. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying y'all asked me. I didn't just volunteer them. Y'all asked me about them picks. RJ88 asked about a pick. Jock Aldridge asked about a pick. Those wasn't just I wasn't just coming out offering those picks. But when you ask, I'll tell you what I think, and I counted those. I actually betted it, so it really was my pick. I really did go with it. RJ put that in my head, though. Nobody, no, man, I'll be the first to admit I ain't 100%, but I do get hot, and I do have days where I go undefeated. But no, I ain't 100% for sure. I'm not, and I don't do no one pick or two pick like most people. I'm giving you 5 to 15 picks. You feel me? I love a 5 or 17. Who I got on the Niner game, I actually haven't looked at it and didn't plan on messing with it. So I'll look at it though. We got time. We only 10 minutes in. I'll look at it for you. I want to be 100% of Derek Lewis as much as I can, so I could get you guys some money. Like I say, it helps me too. But because of you, I was betting today, and you in Hollywood. Otherwise, I wouldn't even had a bet today. There's 213. You look familiar. She looked like West Side Ebby. That's her alter ego. West Side Ebby is her West Side profile. Miss 213 is her East Side profile. Man, we could put a 10 grand payout parlay together. Sound good to me. I actually got 3 people. I don't know if I should say their name, but I actually got 3 people who want me to try to give some picks to them on the side so we can hit this weekend. You know I'm all for that. I hope somebody hit, but oh, there go Tony Moore. Tony Moore in the building. What up, Tony Moore? Yeah, so I'm like this, man. I don't have a problem giving out picks if we're gonna try to get a bunch of money. You know, a little bit of money don't really help nobody, but a bunch of money, yeah. I'm with giving out those picks and doing the extra studying. You know, we can always pick what we see, but it helps to study to find out who's injured, who's not injured, who plays good at home, and stuff like that. And I noticed something, and I didn't mention it yesterday, but I had noticed, I don't remember if it was baseball or it was baseball and basketball, but almost every home team won the other day. Almost every home team, when I looked at the board, had won that day. I believe it was yesterday. I'm down so many games too. Yeah, I'll see what I see, man. But like I said, I need to get your number or something, email or something, so we can go back and forth. So it'll be easier on me. But I understand you on Discord as well. I just don't like Discord. I don't have success posting on Discord. So I'd rather not do that. You know what I mean? Hey, you take calls on your StreamYard? I will absolutely take a phone call, or you could just come on and turn your camera off. I mean, but if you a troll or something, if you trolling or you coming to diss, I'm gonna just knock you off real quick. But that's the thing about not knowing who your audience is. You just never know who's trying to come on camera. But yeah, if you want to come on, man, you can turn your camera off and we can hear your voice. You can just click on this link that I just posted. Click on that link I just posted, and before you come on, it'll give you the option to turn your camera off. USC to upset Penn State at home. I didn't know Tony Moore knew how to pick winners and losers. I thought all you do is pick the Ravens and the Orioles. Yeah, I want to do that, man. I want to do that, but I need to figure out. I may have to buy a new Fire Stick and probably link that Fire Stick, because I don't want to do this from my room. You know what I mean? It ain't a lot of room in my room. I got a big bed, so 3 women can sleep with me. So it's no room in my room. You know what I mean? I got a little chair so I can soak my feet, Epsom salt, and stuff like that. But I got a real big bed, so 3 women can sleep in bed with me. Ain't no room in there. What it do? Talk to me.
Hey, can you hear me loud and clear?
Not loud, but I hear you clear.
Oh, it's too bad. All right. Well, yeah, thanks for taking my call. How you doing, man?
All right, I'm all right. Talk to me.
All right. What's up? Yeah, I just found your page randomly. Do you take all sports topics or you only stay on topic?
Nah, we'll talk about any sports.
All right. I got a good sports topic for you, man. If
Let's
you're down
go.
with it, it'll be good. All right. I have come to the conclusion, man, based on many things, that Michael Jordan fans are the worst sports fans of all time.
Man, you just disrespect me, but go ahead.
Oh, you're a Michael Jordan fan?
Absolutely.
Okay. When I say fan, I'm not talking about like, you think he's a good player, he's entertaining, you like his interviews and all that. That's a regular fan. That's just a regular fan. I'm talking about a certain group of people who do certain things. Now, they do a lot of things. So if I list everything, it's not practical. So I'll give you a few examples of what they do. Okay, they do these things where they make up facts, they move the goalposts, they contradict themselves, and so on. So, for example, this is just one random example. They'll say things like Michael Jordan won 6 rings, as if he won by himself. And then when he loses, they go, oh, no, it's not because of him. It's a team that lost. He didn't have a good enough team. And then when another guy wins, oh, no, he didn't win. He had a super team. He played in a weak league. You know what? He wasn't even that good. Or, you know what? He had a good coach. And then when another guy loses, oh, it's not because of the team. It's because of him. You see what they do there?
I agree with that. You're absolutely right.
Right. And that's just one example. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll give you another example of what they do. Another example. Anybody who knows when you play basketball or any sport, it doesn't matter how good you are, how bad you are, you can't make yourself win an award. You can't make yourself win the MVP or win the finals MVP or make the All-Star game or whatever. You could be like Rod Strickland, do really good and never make the All-Star team. You could. Yeah. But what these guys do, they'll go, look at how many times he won the MVP award. Look at how many times he won the finals MVP award. Look at how many times he made the All-Star game and all that, as if people voting means you're better than someone else. Like if you played basketball and you were the best player in the league, but somebody else won the award for MVP, for example, that doesn't mean they're better than you. It just means they got the award. People voted for them. That's another thing that these Michael Jordan fans do.
Okay, I got a couple arguments for that.
All right.
And I don't think you have a bad argument.
Yeah, thank you.
And I think this is a good argument. I think this is healthy. So my thing is this. I'm agree with the part that we don't control who votes for us. Mm-hmm. I personally, when I played Little League, I was an all-star every year, but I was only voted onto the all-star team once. So I agree with you. It's not up to us. It could be political, so I agree with that part. As far as Michael Jordan winning and losing, and then we say, oh, he didn't have a team. Well, there's a huge difference in that argument compared to others. Michael Jordan has never lost a championship in the NBA. So he's always stepped up in the big games. He's always had won the big series. He's 6-0 in them championships. And yeah, he didn't do it by himself, but he also didn't lose no games either.
Okay, so real quickly, I'm gonna address what you said. I'm not gonna dodge you, but I'm gonna give you another great example of how Michael Jordan fans are the worst sports fans of all time. Go to your chat room. There's a guy by the name of Tony Angel. Now, anytime you dare question Michael Jordan, or you question the 1980s or 1990s, or you question how, I don't know, like some Michael Jordan's award that he won or something, they always go, you're a LeBron sexual, you're a LeBron James fan, you're a La Flop fan, you're a 3-6 Mafia fan. They do this weirdo thing where they just randomly bring up LeBron James when he has nothing to do with anything, and they just always assume anyone who doesn't fall in love with Michael Jordan must have fallen in love with LeBron James. I've never seen this in any other sport. Like, for example, I've never seen a Willie Mays fan say, oh, you don't pick Willie Mays? You must be a Ty Cobb sexual. Like, nobody does that in hockey or wrestling or boxing or any sport. It's just Michael Jordan fans who have this brain in their head that if you dare disagree with them on their childhood NBA hero Michael Jordan, you must want to have sex with LeBron James and marry LeBron James and move in with LeBron James, and you have posters of LeBron James. And even when I say this, I can almost guarantee you this, man, even as I say this, he's still going to say he's a LeBron James fan. They always do this all the time. I have a page, okay, on YouTube. I'm not trying to plug my page, don't worry, where I have no videos on LeBron James. I have no polls on LeBron James. I hardly ever bring up LeBron James on my own unless someone asks me. And if I do bring him up, it's very rare. And you know what people will write in the chat rooms, the comment sections? They'll say things like, This dude always puts up LeBron James stuff on his page. There's no video on LeBron James, nothing. And they believe in their mind that I post videos and polls about LeBron James. I always bring up LeBron James, and these I'm really into him. Then this is how they are. Now, if you want, I'll address what you said about rings, or you could follow up, obviously, if you want.
Yeah, let me jump in real quick. First of all, you could plug your page. I don't have a problem with that. I'll let everybody promote. It don't cost me nothing.
Oh, thank you. No, I got a very popular basketball page. In fact, you've been very nice. If you ever want to go on my show, I'll plug your show. Okay. I pretty much take all topics. You may have already been there, but anyway, it's called the Universe Galaxy NBA. Again, the Universe Galaxy NBA. I put lots of real good footage, and if you go on Google and type my name my page, you'll see there's lots of people in the media who have written articles on my videos. Tons, must be in the thousands.
I misspelled it, but I got you.
Yeah, the Universe Galaxy NBA. And notice, see what Tony Angel did? I told you. He's not going to deny anything. He's not going to like apologize. He's not going to admit he's being stupid and all that. He's just going to he's going to double down.
Well, he did say you may have a point there.
Well, I must have missed that. He wrote, but the fact that you're overreacting shows it might be true. And then he laughed. This is how they are, man. It's not just Tony Angel. I've met thousands of like Michael Jordan fans. I do a joke on my program. Let's say I'm debating a Michael Jordan fan one-on-one, right? And we're just talking about whatever. They'll randomly bring up LeBron James, and I'll make a joke to the audience. I'll go, okay, a Michael Jordan fan has randomly brought up LeBron James, and they'll be like, yeah, why are you bringing that up? What happened? They don't get it because they're new to the show. And I'll say, oh, it's a joke I always bring up because you guys always bring up LeBron James when he has nothing to do with anything. And then instead of getting it and saying, yeah, you're right, wow, I did that, they'll just keep it going like it's nothing, like there's no issue. Like, yeah, I brought up LeBron James because of this and that, this and that. Once in a while, a Michael Jordan fan will realize what they're doing. Like, yeah, why did I bring it? Why did I assume you're into LeBron James? I didn't even think about it. But most of the time, they don't.
Let me say this. First, let me ask a question. Are you a LeBron James fan?
No more, no less than anyone else.
Okay. So here's my thing. Because, again, you are absolutely correct. I give you all of that. You're right. But if you're talking about Jordan, or whoever you're talking about, if you're talking about LeBron, okay, if you're talking about LeBron, we're a Jordan fan. We could be a Curry fan. We could be a Magic Johnson fan. We're just speaking on basketball. It's not that it's because of Jordan we have to go against LeBron. However, what you left out is LeBron fans do the same thing.
Okay, so something you should know here. I made a video on this too. Now, I'm not trying to come at you, man. You've been very nice to me. I'm just following up to what you said.
Come at me, man. I welcome all of that.
I wouldn't know. You've been very nice to me. I have no reason to come at you. When you say LeBron James fans do the same thing, you're right. But there's one thing you don't realize, and I don't blame you for not getting this, because you have to really research this. All those people who say what you just said, they're actually Michael Jordan fans. Let me explain this. If I told you Michael Jordan is the greatest NBA player of all time, and he played in the toughest era of all time, and he's 6'6", and he's 6-0, and he never lost, and all the things that Michael Jordan fans say. But the only difference was I said, oh, and LeBron James is number 2. It's the same guy. There's no difference. Some of them even say LeBron James is number 1 and Michael Jordan is number 2. They're the same people. They go by finals MVPs. They think the NBA, the modern NBA started in 1980. They think today's NBA sucks. And I can give you more examples, but you get the point. The only difference is some of them will say LeBron James is number 1 and Michael Jordan's number 2, or Michael Jordan's number 1 and LeBron James is number 2. They're really not that different. It's the same people. If you want to talk about, let's say you say, well, okay, what about the actual LeBron James fans, the ones who are really into him, and they don't like Michael Jordan? Those guys are out there, but you know what? We got to be fair here, man. It's not LeBron James attacking Michael Jordan. It's Michael Jordan fans attacking LeBron James usually, and then LeBron James fans defend themselves. Because all Michael Jordan fans are always saying, today's NBA is soft. It sucks. It's weak. They're a bunch of boys. They're not grown men. They couldn't play in the past. They're terrible. I don't even watch today's NBA. When Michael Jordan left, the ratings went down. Everything was better back in the day. I liked baggy pants. I hate tight pants. Nintendo and Sega was better. Video games sucks today. TV programs, Married with Children was better. It sucks today. Movies were better. It sucks today. They're always attacking and attacking and attacking and attacking. So LeBron James fans who weren't alive, a lot of them, they're just defending their guy. And then Michael Jordan fans go, aha, you see how these LeBron James fans are? No, they're just reacting to Michael Jordan fans.
I mean, I may be wrong, or maybe we can agree to disagree, because you make valid points. However, I feel like it's a two-way street. I feel like that goes both ways.
Okay, I'll give you a great example. Tell me if I'm wrong about this.
Yeah.
If I said Michael Jordan is not the greatest NBA player of all time, most people in the NBA world pick Michael Jordan as the greatest. The majority of fans pick him. That's a fact. So if I say Michael Jordan's not the greatest, most of these people will go LeBron James fan. Now, if I said LeBron James is not the greatest, most of them will not say Michael Jordan fan. You see the difference there?
Yeah, I see the difference.
That's what I'm saying. There's a difference between them. It's not just this equal thing like, oh, Michael Jordan fans like their guy and LeBron James fans like their guy, and they're just butting heads and fighting. No. It's Michael Jordan fans who are always on the attack, tearing everyone down, and then LeBron James just defend their guy. Forget LeBron James. Look at how they used to act with Kobe Bryant.
I was going to say that. So that's another reason why I don't think this is just a Jordan fan thing. I think this is a fan of any NBA player.
I've never seen Oscar Robertson fans, Bill Russell fans, Kareem fans, Nate Thurman fans, any other fans do this thing where they tear down someone and say, you must be a something sexual. You must be a Michael Jordan hater.
I agree with that part. No, you're right about that.
And when LeBron James wasn't around, forget LeBron James, Michael Jordan fans used to tear down Kobe Bryant all the time. If you dare said Kobe was on Michael Jordan's level or he passed Michael Jordan level, what they always say, they used to say, oh, he copycatted him. He's Michael Jordan 2.0. Oh, he ain't even his league. He got 5 rings only. And if you talk about Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, oh, they only got 5 rings. They had all these Hall of Famers. They had all this help. Oh, Michael Jordan wasn't in his prime. Anytime you pick anyone, Bill Russell, oh, he played with a bunch of white boys. They were all 6'6". They weren't that strong, and so on. If you pick a white guy, oh, he's white. Okay. Oh, Jerry West, he ain't that big. He ain't that strong. He ain't that fast. They always tear down everyone. I'll give you a great example. Take out the 1980s and 1990s. Just let's put that to the side. We can't count the 1940s because they suck. We can't count the 1950s because they suck. We can't count the 1960s because they suck. We can't count the 1970s because they suck. Now let's skip over to the 1980s and 1990s. After Michael Jordan left, the NBA sucked in the 2000s. It sucked in the 2010s, and it sucks today. Everything sucks except for the 1980s and 1990s. Do you know any other fan who does that?
No.
That's my point. They are the worst sports fans of all time. All baseball fans love every year about baseball. All hockey fans love every year about hockey. All wrestling fans like every year about wrestling. Some of them like the 1980s and 1990s more, but usually they like every year and so on. But Michael Jordan fans, they tear down every era except the 1980s and 1990s. And then they say the 1980s and 1990s is the number one era of all time, the golden era, the toughest era, the greatest era.
And you disagree with that?
I don't think there's a such thing as a better era than another. If you can ball, you can ball. Like if you were 7 feet.
Well, the game changes from decade to decade.
Not that much.
Yeah, the 3-point line, the free throw line, the fouls, the hard fouls. You can't even fight no more, man. You can't even give nobody a body blow no more without a technical foul and you kicked out the game.
But even if I don't agree with all that, but let's say you're right. Just for the sake of argument, let's say you're right. That ain't the player's fault. That's the rules.
Yeah, that changes the game. The rules dictate the way the game is played.
So if the game is so different, let's say you're right and I'm wrong, and the game is so different, how come all-star players put up pretty much the same type of numbers? 28 points, 10 assists, 6 rebounds, and so on. It's like, go look at LeBron James numbers, Kevin Durant numbers. and go look at Charles Barkley and Hakeem Olajuwon. The numbers are pretty much the same.
All right. So would somebody like Isaiah Thomas numbers look like Steph Curry's numbers?
What rules are we going by?
You said stats, right?
Okay, so then no, but it also depends on the rules, right?
That's what I'm trying to tell you. The rules dictate the way the game is played.
And so, but then at the end of the day, they can all figure it out. Like, think of it like this. I want you to think back when you were growing up, okay? And think back all the way till today. Can you think of any player in their prime? In their prime now, we're not talking about they're older and they're injured. They're in their prime. Can you think of any players whose numbers went way up or way down because the rules were so different?
Off the top of my head, no.
Exactly. And the reason is because rules are different and the game does change. Every sport, it changes, but it's still the same game basically. In any sport, if you can ball, it doesn't matter what year it is. So, for example, let's say you were 7 feet tall and you weigh 300 pounds. No matter what year it is, you're 7 feet tall and you weigh over 300 pounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one, you're going to still do the same stuff. Now, is it going to be 100% the same? No. But at the end of the day, Oscar Robertson, he said something that I thought was really good. He had an interview and they asked him this type of question. Like, what do you think about the game being so different? And he's like, I don't understand why people in the media always say the game is so different. What do you do in basketball? You shoot the ball, you rebound, you pass, and so on. It's pretty much the same game.
It is pretty much the same game.
That's Oscar Robertson.
Yeah, but there are differences. Remember the shot clock? You could just dribble the ball out. You could hold the ball.
Right. No, but that was like that was like 1940. Like I'm not saying no rule was that different, but pretty much it was still basketball, right? Like it wasn't like that different.
Yeah, like, but still, when we talk about the tough era, I'm gonna throw myself in the equation. When we talk about the tough era, I don't know. You have to be blind to not believe. When I was growing up, the era was tougher than it is now. Man, you can't breathe on nobody. You can't touch nobody. Kareem, Lambeer, man, those dudes used to be elbowing you in the face. The jaw, Charles Oakley, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen. Them dudes was tough. Charles Barkley.
Scottie Pippen disagrees with you. Scottie Pippen said in an interview, I got the video on my page.
Scottie can disagree all he wants. That don't make him right.
Well, I could say the same thing with you, right? You could disagree that doesn't make you right.
Absolutely. I take all criticism. It's all right. Because at the end of the day, it's your opinion and my opinion. Actually, so I'm comfortable in my opinion, I'm gonna stick with it. If you can convince me otherwise, then I'm gonna admit that I didn't see it that way.
So actually, I gotta bring this up too. So I try not to debate people on opinions because if you do that, you might as well debate what's a better color, blue or green. There's nobody going to win or lose that argument.
Ooh, fool.
I like blue too. I like green too, actually. I like them both. I'm not going to pick one over the other. But what I try to do is I try to debate on things like if I debate, I try to debate on what is factually true and are you being consistent. So I don't say I gave you any opinion about what era is tougher or not, but you did. But you didn't actually give an opinion. You actually, I'm not trying to be technical, but you didn't give an opinion. You didn't say what's your favorite donut or what's your favorite color. You said basically the game is not the same, like the rules are more stricter. So there's no evidence because that's a claim. You're claiming, hey, this is different. It's more tougher. You're right that the rules are different. That part you're right, but there's no evidence it's more tougher. I see highlights where they fight, but highlights ain't the whole game. You could play a whole game from 1987 and you'll see most of the time they're not bully balling each other.
I mean, maybe that's what you see in your eyes.
No, you can play the whole game.
Maybe it's just in my mind because I'm not looking at the film. But I remember the days where people were throwing elbows and fighting. Now you have a Draymond Green that is the bad boy in the league, and he's only doing what players did regularly in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, no, I agree with you that they used to throw more fist fights, but that's not basketball. That's fighting.
Elbows and everything else, man.
They still do it today. You could see interview after interview, players talking about, they're pulling my jerseys, they put knees out there, they stick their elbows out. They still do all the dirty stuff. It's still basketball. Now they don't They don't clothesline you like Kevin McHale did to Kurt Rambis, but that's not basketball. That's wrestling.
I don't know, man. You must have been brought up in a really nice environment where you didn't get
I
into a
grew up
lot
in
of.
I grew up in the ghetto. I grew up in a lower. I'm not saying ghetto like it's not like Brooklyn Zoo, but it wasn't exactly Beverly Hills.
What age range are you?
Because of my page, because there's a good chance someone's going to play this. I actually don't want to tell people any personal information
Okay.
about me. You know what I'm saying? I hope you understand, man.
Yeah, I didn't ask your age, but age range. But it's all right.
No,
Just
even that.
curious.
I'll tell you this though. It actually doesn't even matter my age. You know why? Because there's tape. You don't even have to. Let's say I told you I was alive back then, or I wasn't.
I'm just
It's
trying
tape.
to figure out what era that you could possibly help influence the way you think. That's all.
No, but
But
I'm saying, let's say you knew my era. That won't change anything.
you don't think so?
No, because at the end of the day, tape is available. All the tape is all there. Whatever era you grew up in, it seems like you grew up in that time, they didn't show all the games all the time live on TV. So when you say they used to do this, they used to do that, you couldn't watch all the games live on TV. You wouldn't even know what they're doing all the time. They're just going to show you highlights. And the media brainwashes people today, especially places like ESPN and Fox Sports and TNT and all that. They want to show you the good old days. Look at all these highlights fights. And then suckers play these highlights and go, yeah, they're always fighting back then. But
I don't fit in that category when you start talking about the 80s. Back in, I was a drug dealer when I was young. And one of the first things I bought with my drug money was a satellite so I could watch all the games. Before they had direct TV and dish and all that, you could go to whatever channel you wanted to find whatever game you wanted.
So
I was always watching games. People that know me know in the 80s, I built a sports book in my room. So people would come over to my house, my mother's house, and come in my room because I would have 3 or 4 TVs with different games going on at the same time.
You talking about the 1990s or?
In the 80s.
Oh, 80. Okay. So, but they still, even if you had satellite, they didn't show every game live on TV in the 1980s.
Yes, they did.
In the 1980s?
Yes, they did.
What years are you talking about? The whole decade?
Yes, listen. Think about what you said. They show you highlights. Where are they getting highlights from if they're not showing a game?
No. That's what I'm saying. When I'm talking about news, like 11 o'clock news, guys. Let's go over a few minutes of what happened in sports today. That kind of thing.
Man, I had all the games.
No, but they didn't even have.
If I'm wrong about a game not being on the air, then I apologize. I'm wrong.
That's all good. That's all good. But let's say
as far as I remember, I watched every game.
Well, let's say they had every game live available from 1980 to 1990. There's no way you as a human being could watch every game for every team.
I can't watch every play of every game.
Right.
But 4 TVs, and you just flip the channel. You got what you may or may not realize, I was a gambler. So trust me, I had to get on those games. I'm watching this game, but I got money on this game. I got to switch this TV and switch that TV.
Well, then you should know better than anybody that in the 1990s, and actually the 1980s too, actually, they were changing a bunch of rules to make it tougher for the big man and make it easier for the smaller guy, and they were trying to open up scoring. You should know this better than anybody, and you should also know they changed a lot of rules to make it easier for Michael Jordan.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. They changed rules a lot. The rules change damn near every year. There's something that changes.
But you notice when Michael Jordan fans talk about today's NBA, they change the rules. It ain't as physical. They're soft and all that. They could have said the same things about the 1980s and 1990s, but they don't. They do the opposite. I'll give you an example. Anthony Mason. Remember Anthony Mason?
Yeah, of course.
This is what he said. This is his quote in the early 1990s. He's like, they're sissifying the league. They're taking out the defense. They're trying to make it easier to score and all that. Pat Riley said they're trying to make more points at the free throw line and they're going to get it. Scottie Pippen said they're making the game less physical and they're trying to make it harder. The Knicks are going to have it the toughest. They're basically, he was trying to show that the NBA was making it tough for defense. And this is true. Rob Thorne, remember Rob Thorne?
Yeah.
Yeah, he admitted this. We're trying to make the NBA more like FIBA. And they had a big problem with the New York Knicks being physical and the Detroit Pistons being physical, and everyone assumed Michael Jordan was complaining because he did. Actually, it's not an assumption. He did complain, and he's the golden boy. He's the one making them the most money, getting the most attention, all that. So they made it easier for him. And they had all these weird rules. I'll give you one random example, just one random example. In those days, the 1980s and 1990s, if anyone had the ball below the free throw line, anywhere below the free throw line, you were not allowed to have two defenders on them. That's an example. So when you guys say about physicality and defense and toughness and all that, they were saying the same thing back then. A lot of the older people back then, what do old people always say? Back in my day, things were tougher. You guys are a bunch of you guys have it all easy, right? They were doing, the old people were saying that to you guys in the 1980s and 1990s.
Sure.
And now that you guys got older, you're doing the same thing to the younger people. You're just continuing the cycle then.
True, but excuse me if my understanding or education isn't high enough to understand this conversation, but I could have sworn what you said, and we could play this back when the live is over. I could have sworn you just basically agreed, but a whole nother way when you talked about all these players talking about it's an offensive game now, and they took the defense out. So how are these guys going to show or prove, like you said, you don't like to use opinion, how are we going to say they're just as tough when they can't play the same way as physical as they played back in the day? And you might want to think and go back to where I asked about Steph Curry versus Isaiah Thomas. I asked for that exact reason.
There's no way
tougher then, and they weren't shooting a three like that. So the game has evolved, bro. Whether you want to admit that or not, it has really evolved.
Well, let me ask you a question. How come whenever I hear people say this, that the league was tougher, better, more physical and all that back then, and today it's weaker, softer, not as strict and all that, how come the majority of the time it's Michael Jordan fans? Why can't I get a Jerry West fan or a Kareem fan or an Elgin Baylor fan or anyone else saying this?
Let me ask you a question. Can you only be a fan of one player?
No, of course not.
I'm a Jerry West fan.
But when I say Michael Jordan fan, I never mean you only like him. It's like when it's like when Tony Angel said I'm a LeBron James fan. It doesn't mean he thinks I only like him, right? It's just it's like when someone says Donald Trump fans. It doesn't mean they only like Donald Trump and no one else. It just means there's a certain people who think a certain way and they contradict themselves and they're brainwashed by the media. Donald Trump fans. So I have no idea what would happen if Isaiah Thomas played today. Neither do you. These are hypotheticals. We have no idea. Is it Isaiah Thomas grown up today, or is he coming in a time machine? But I do know this. Anyone who can play basketball, if they're healthy, they can play with anyone.
Yeah, I agree with one of my moderators. I believe you're contradicting yourself and don't realize it. But
tell me, how am I doing it? Tell me how.
Because you keep talking about how the league is not tougher, but then you talk about how it's an offensive game and even
I never said that.
Michael Jordan changed the game because he was complaining.
No, I never said anything. I never said it was an offensive game. I never said that.
Well, you said the players said it.
Which like Scottie Pippen or who
you named a few players. You named several people.
Yeah, these are the only reason I brought up what they said. It's not because I'm saying I agree or disagree. I'm just trying to get you to think logically. If you're right about all the things you say, how would you explain that the people who played in that time are saying the opposite?
I'm not right all the time. I'm never always right, but I have strong opinions in which it's going to be hard to make me change my mind, especially when you're basically saying the same thing without admitting to it.
No, but I'm still not getting. It seems like you're saying you got me on something, but I'm not really sure where you think you got me.
I'm not saying I got you at all. I'm saying from what I'm hearing, what I'm understanding, is that when you quoting these players about how the game has changed, how it's an offensive game, how it's going to be. You said something about hard for the Knicks.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I think that's part of us saying that the game is a lot softer now. You got players that don't want to go in the middle now. You got guys 7 foot tall shooting 3-pointers because they don't like to get fouled. You got Anthony Davis grabbing everything from the back of his head to his toe every time he gets touched. You got the guy on San Antonio the Wimbia, however you say his name, you that won't even go inside a lot of times unless he got a clear path to the basket. If he gets touched, oh, he's in pain for a minute too. You got. I don't know if this is just a basketball conversation or not, but in football, you can't even touch a quarterback. Man, Cam Newton used to get hammered. Fran Tarkenton used to get teeth knocked out of his mouth. Quarterbacks used to spit teeth out. They had the 1 and 2 bar around their face. Now they got all kind of things to keep them from getting concussions and keep their head.
By the way, Kev, I love how you and I are having a regular sports topic and we're not fighting. And if you go in the chat room, people act like I'm starting drama and trolling you and insulting you and being negative to you. What's up with this audience?
I don't know. To me, that's just YouTube nowadays. I don't know. But
anyway,
no, I welcome all conversation, especially anybody that oppose my opinions and my facts.
But to address what you're saying, remember, I think you missed what I said. I never said there was no differences at all. I said more than once there are differences. But what I said was the differences are not that big. It's still the same game. Mm-hmm. And you agreed. It's still the same game.
It's pretty much the same game. You have to alter your game as the rules are.
And that's what players, yes, I'm glad you brought that up. That's what players do every year. They adapt and they adjust. The differences are not like 1947 where they have a 24-second clock. That's a big difference. Big difference. All the other, or the 3-point line, okay, that's a pretty big difference. But everything else in general are just minor tweaks here and there. It's still the same game. The point guard brings the ball up the court. Everyone goes to their spots. They rotate. They pass the ball. They screen. They box out. They block, steal, assist, and all that. It's still the same game. And if someone doesn't believe me, check the numbers. Star players pretty much have the same type of numbers, and there's no evidence. I even asked the host earlier, can you think of any star player in their prime where their numbers went up or down because the game is so different? And he couldn't come up with them because there is none.
No. But let me ask you this. Do you remember when illegal defense came in?
The exact year? No.
But you do remember that kind of changed the game.
I remember they always come up with these stupid rules for defense all the time, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Zone defenses.
And they don't even call them all the time, by the way. But, these defensive rules, I'm not giving you any opinions. Go check what they did with defense in the 1980s and 1990s. It's all documented.
How can we look up facts on how they travel nowadays? The guy you keep bringing up, LeBron.
I hardly ever brought up LeBron James, but I don't know what
you mentioned his name all night. I'm not saying you were defending him, but you mentioned him.
No, you said I keep bringing him up. I hardly ever brought him up. I only brought him up because Tony Angel in the chat room brought him up.
I gotta slap myself for that one. If we run this back, I guarantee you said his name at least 15 times.
No. But I hardly, I don't know how many times I said it, but let's say we're talking about him. At that time, I said LeBron's sexual, the 3-6, the mafia, but that I hardly ever brought him up. You said I brought him up a lot. I only brought him up because Tony Angel in the chat room was bringing him up. Remember? Otherwise, I would have never brought him up.
I wasn't even paying Tony Angel no mind, so I didn't even know where this conversation was coming from.
Oh, okay, all right. But anyway, they always change defensive rules and all that. Oh, sorry, you were asking about traveling. In your time when you were growing up, there was tons of old people who kept saying players travel all the time. They don't get called for it. They carry all the time. They palm it all the time. They dribble all the time. There's two guys, if you have an LA hat, you might know them. You know who Chick Hearn and Stu Lance are?
Of course.
Okay. You can find tons of tape. The tape is there where Stu Lance would say, travel, and he would laugh because they wouldn't call it. He would say, travel, he would laugh again. Jerry West said on record, you got players today, I don't have the exact year, maybe 90s, early 2000s. He's like, you got players today who walk every time they get the ball. Every time. In other words, this is what I'm trying to say about Michael Jordan fans. They don't even realize that everything they say about today's NBA, they were saying back then. In their revisionist history, because they change history, they make it seem like everything about the past was so like golden, tough, strict, amazing, and everything today sucks.
Again, I'm not trying to give you a hard time. Are we just talking about basketball or sports in general?
Uh, I mean, I'm open minded. What do you got?
No, because I'm thinking about like Shohei Ohtani, uh, Manny Machado,
Okay.
Aaron
Okay.
Judge,
All right.
Stanton, even like Screwball, the pitcher on Detroit Tigers.
All right.
I don't. I'm never one of the guys that say baseball is, is not that interesting or is weaker now. But maybe in basketball you may be right. I kind of feel like that, but I don't feel like that in all sports.
No, I know, I know. No, they don't. It definitely happens more in basketball. It definitely does. No, there's no doubt about it. Like baseball, like I told you earlier, they pretty much like all the years, wrestling, boxing, and all that. But it happens more in basketball. And who are the majority of basketball fans? Who do most people pick as the greatest NBA player of all time?
Most pick Michael Jordan.
That's right. And most of the media, ESPN, Fox Sports, TNT, and all that, most of those people pick Michael Jordan. They're always telling you the same old thing over and over: 6 for 6, 6-0, no game 7, never lost. Back then it was tougher, stricter. It was real men. It was more physical. Today's NBA is soft. It's weak. The rules are terrible. It's not that popular. And people in the audience get brainwashed by this and they get influenced by this. I've met kids who like call into my show. Like they're like, when I say kids, whatever, elementary school, junior high, they say the same thing that people from the 1980s and 1990s say. How would they know? They weren't there. It's because they're being told this by older Michael Jordan fans in the media then.
And that can hold true for a lot of people. I use that analogy a lot, that people get their information from the TV,
Right.
especially when you start talking about news and politics. But I don't feel like I fall in that category. And here's the reason why. It's because I was betting on Michael Jordan. They even had prop bets on Michael Jordan back then in the early 90s. People think that's new. That's not new. I was betting prop bets on Jordan back in the early 90s and betting on the Bulls in the early 90s.
Mhm.
So I'm going to always view Michael Jordan as better than a guy that like a Kevin Durant that I done lost many times on or
Well, he never lost. No, his team lost.
Well, he yeah, sort of. That's true. But when you start betting prop bets, you start looking at the player, the individual, not the team. So back to Jordan's props, Jordan was winning me money. So yeah, I'm always look at Jordan as one of the greatest ever.
Well, no, he must have lost you more money because he lost more times than he won.
He did not. He did not. Prop bets mean will he score over or under a certain amount of points?
Oh, I thought okay. So I thought he was probably winning games. Okay, I see what you're saying.
No. And I don't bet every game. Whether I like a player or a team, I don't even bet on the Dodgers a lot. And the Dodgers are my favorite team. Because you have to have a half a brain when you're gambling. You have to recognize the difference from betting with your heart and betting with your wallet.
Okay.
But there are many players in all leagues that I feel like they can't be compared to someone like a Barry Bonds, or even I want to stick to players during my betting time. I used to win a lot on Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, Kurt Schilling. Those are always going to be great pictures of me. It don't matter if Tom Seaver was better than them or Tommy John, but guys that won me money, I'm going to have a bias for them.
No. If you were to say they could, those guys you listed, Kurt Schilling, Tom Seaver, Randy Johnson, if you were to say they could play in any era, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
But if you were to say that their era is the golden era, the toughest era, and today's era is weak and it sucks, that's just making things up. I wouldn't agree with that.
Yeah, I'm not going to say all that.
But you do say
not in regards to baseball,
right? But you will with basketball, right?
And especially football, because there was guys like Jack Tatum, John Lynch, Ronnie Lott. It was a guy on the Broncos. His name slips my mind. Those dudes was hitting hard. Right. You can't do that now. You'd be suspended for probably a half a year if you hit like they was hitting.
But you know what? You know what? Football's a little bit different because it's a hit game. You're in the hit business. That's a little bit different because you're supposed to hit. So it's tougher to measure that. But I'll say this. Even if some things are different in football, there's a flip side. When you go back in time with football, they didn't have the same helmets. They didn't even have any helmets. They didn't have the same shoes and a
Exactly.
bunch of other things. So they had it tougher in many ways too. In fact,
Yeah,
I'll put it to you like this:
that's true.
if I said to you,
I was saying, not to
Yeah.
cut you off, but that's
Okay.
what I was saying about Fran Tarkenton and his era.
There you go. So
Terry
you already know.
Bradshaw.
You already know.
Yeah.
So when people talk about the past NBA sucking, I ask people this: which one would make it harder for you to put up good numbers? Playing in an era where you have a better floor, a better practice facility, more luxuries and all that, or playing in a time when you had a bad floor, bad shoes, racism, and all that? The Bill Russell people had it tougher, and
I
they
agree.
still did good.
I
So
agree with that.
if you remember, you asked me about Isaiah Thomas and Steph Curry. Let's
Yeah.
go with that. If a past player went through a time machine, let's say Bill Russell came to the 1980s and 1990s, if he came in a time machine, he would say, "Dang, you guys have it easier. I'll do better in this era." Or if he was born and raised in the 1980s and 1990s, I'm not born, but he played during that era, Michael Jordan's era. There's no reason to think he wouldn't do good because it's the same humans. Humans don't change that much in 11 years. It's the same people. He's Bill Russell, 6'9", 200 plus pounds. It doesn't matter what the year is. He's still going to be the same human.
Yeah, well, Wilt Chamberlain, guys like that, you're right.
You don't even want to know what Chamberlain said about Michael Jordan. You don't even want to know.
What about Larry Bird? Will Larry Bird still be good?
Of course. Anybody who can ball can ball. Have you ever been to the playground? Have you ever been to the playground where you see a bunch of kids balling it up? And then here comes this old guy. He dresses a little bit different. He acts a little bit different. He ain't hip hop. He's doing, he's just a different generation. And he just balls everybody up. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, of course.
Of course. You know why? Because it doesn't matter what year you're from. If you can ball, you can ball. The younger guys are doing the shimmy and crossing people up and doing all these crazy things. Older guy does those sweeping sky hooks. He backs them in. He gets the rebounds. He makes the passes, and he wins. You don't have to shoot a three to win. You don't have to make free throws to win or have certain defensive rules to win. If you can ball, period.
All right, let me ask you one more question.
All right.
As it pertains to much of your conversation.
All right.
If you're in a championship game or you're in a game to go to the championship.
Not Michael Jordan.
Who do you want at the free throw line, Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
Oh, at the free throw line?
Yes.
Oh, Michael Jordan.
Who do you want to take the last shot of the game from the outside, Michael Jordan or LeBron James?
It depends. Where's the shot?
Anywhere on the court, as long as it's not at the rim.
Anywhere at the court? Are you sure you want to ask me that? Anywhere?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, because for most of Michael Jordan's career, he wasn't a good shooter for most of his career. So I'll go with LeBron James.
Okay. So if
you check LeBron James' 3-point percentage overall and Michael Jordan's 3-point percentage, especially in the 1980s, it's not even close. LeBron James is a better shooter.
What's the percentage look like for a clutch shot, a game-winning shot?
Well, that depends. What's the definition of clutch?
Winning the game or sending the game in overtime.
So then clutch, for you, clutch would mean right when the buzzer comes. What if you make a clutch shots with 4 seconds left? Is that not clutch?
Oh, yeah. That's clutch too.
Okay, what if you make a clutch shot with 11 seconds left? Is that clutch?
If you win the game, yes.
Okay, what if you make the shot? Clyde Drexler brought this up. He's like, suppose you score 50 points, you made the clutch shot, you did everything, and then the other team scored on your team and they won. Are you still not a champion?
That's a great question.
By the way, just so you know, the reason I keep bringing up Hall of Famers, what they say, is because if I just tell you what I think, I don't expect you to say, okay, you're right. So I'm trying to get you to think these are what the actual players in the Hall of Fame say and what they think.
Well, like Rob Moses say, I respect that. I respect that.
You want to know what Wilt Chamberlain said?
But there's going to be no. Go ahead.
Okay. Now this is what Wilt Chamberlain said, and I'm with him on this. Okay, I'm with him. This is Wilt Chamberlain, the man who has the most NBA records of all time. He's seen Michael Jordan. He's older than all of us. He's seen the players from his time. He said Michael Jordan is not better than Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Bill Russell, Oscar Robertson, and a number of players. And I agree with it.
I could go with that.
I agree. I agree.
But a lot of people say in our time, meaning the younger players didn't see those older players play like that.
That's right.
And for me personally, it goes back to me. I wasn't betting on Wilt Chamberlain and Oscar Robertson and Jerry West and all them, but I've seen a lot of film on Jerry West, and he was a bad dude.
But no, but okay.
No buts. No.
Okay. Now, something you want to consider though, when you're making your bets on winning the game, clutch shots. Okay, I'll tell you why that's. You're not wrong to do that. You made money. It worked. Bet on Michael Jordan. It's all good. But you can't use that as a criteria because I'll give you two examples. John Stockton is not going to shoot as many clutch shots because he passes the ball. So he can't be better than Michael Jordan by your criteria because he passes. Another example, I'll give you one more example. Another player can't be in that situation to make clutch shots if he plays on a crappy team. So, for example, if you're Hakeem Olajuwon and you play for the Rockets in the 1980s, who are not winning every year, he can't be in that situation to make those clutch shots where you can say he's better than Michael Jordan. In other words, what I'm saying to you, you got to go by the whole game. You can't just go by any part you want to go by. In any sport, like Shohei Ohtani, you brought up baseball. Yeah. The reason Ohtani is so good is not just because of one thing. He does a bunch of things. The more you bring to the table, the better you are. So when you go by the entire game, there's a lot of players better than Michael Jordan. A lot.
Yeah, I just don't know how many of a lot of players have made game-winning shots to send their team to the championship or to win a championship.
But it didn't. The game wasn't decided in the last second. He had to
decide on his shot.
No, it had to get that situation in the first place.
I understand that, but that does not mean these great players would make the shot in the same situation.
Right. So if you were to say Michael Jordan is a better clutch player than somebody else, that's a different argument. But if you say he's a better player overall, that's not being a better player is not based just on clutch stuff.
I get that. I'm really into the clutch players in anything. Those are the ones that come through for people like me and people that are either fans of them or have money on the game. No, that's what I'm into. So I'm not going to argue against what you're saying.
Okay.
But I put great players and clutch players, believe it or not, in two different categories. And I personally get that clutch player the nod over the great player.
Okay, and I'm gonna show you something where you might want to reconsider.
I'm not going to reconsider because those great players never won me a dime.
Well, but no, that's different. If you're making money, that's different. I'm not disputing who you're betting on. I'm talking about who's a better player. So if you say clutch is really important to you, okay, I'm down with that. Let's go with that. Clutch doesn't just mean making a shot. Clutch means getting the right rebound, getting a steal, making the right pass, and a bunch of other things. So if you want to go by clutch, go by everything clutch, not just shooting.
I mean, shit. You want to throw out championships? Now you want to throw out shooting? I mean, what's left? The paycheck?
But it's not that I'm throwing them out. They shouldn't have been there in the first place. I'll give you an example. Magic Johnson, Dr. J. Okay, this is Magic Johnson. You're from LA. You like the 1980s and 1990s, so I hope you're going to agree with this. Dr. J said Magic Johnson could dominate this game and never score a basket. Is he wrong?
Say that one more time.
Dr. J said Magic Johnson could dominate this game and never score a basket. Is he wrong?
No, he's not wrong.
Okay, so then what happens to the clutch argument?
Well, what does Magic do in the clutch? That just takes him out of the clutch if he's not giving the assist to win the game or the block shot to save the game.
But that's my point. Magic does everything in the clutch. When Michael Jordan is in the clutch, he's a threat to score. When Magic Johnson is in the clutch, he's a threat to score, and everybody else is a threat to score. So he's more of a threat than Michael Jordan in the clutch.
Okay, let me tell you this. And I'm not saying that Magic didn't do it, but I don't have a vivid memory of Magic doing what Jordan was doing when Jordan was still a ball on a pass, or he's locking a defender down. Jordan was first-team defense an awful lot.
Well, now you're going to a war.
Jordan would get a clutch steal and go for the the layup and poster, get the posters to win games.
Let me ask you, how many Hall of Famers can you name that can't get a steal?
I don't know, but it's a lot of Hall of Famers that I can't remember getting clutch steals in the closing moments of a game.
But how can you? Because most of the history of the NBA does not show all those highlights in the clutch. It's
Okay,
the highlights. The highlights come mostly. Yeah, go ahead.
Let me say this, not to cut you off, but
It's all good. It's all good.
how many of those Hall of Fame players are going to be out on the wing? A lot of them are playing back. They have to guard the rim. They have to guard the key.
Michael Jordan didn't usually guard Shaq and Hakeem and Patrick Ewing and all those guys down there.
That's my point. So he's out on the wing. So he's going to have better opportunities and more opportunities than those other guys.
Right. But then the problem is you're right. No, you're right. Because guards usually get more steals. Big guys get more rebounds. And there's reasons for this. But this is a problem because remember I said to you earlier, Michael Jordan fans, they contradict themselves. What you guys do is you say clutch is important, and I'll go with that. Okay, I'm not even going to say you're wrong. I'll go with it. It is important, but everything is important. So the problem is you guys are going by the clutch that you want to go by. What happened to Kareem's clutch block shot or Magic Johnson's clutch pass or Hakeem Olajuwon's clutch rebound or Larry Bird's clutch steal? You can't ignore all that and just focus on Michael Jordan's clutch shots and clutch steals.
So we ignore Robert Horry's clutch shots then?
I don't, but Michael Jordan fans, some do, I guess.
I don't know about that big shot. Bob and came through, and he could do nothing all game. The opposite of what they said about Magic. Or he can do nothing all game, and he hit that clutch shot on you.
You're right. You're 100%. You're 100% right. And by the way, just to remind you, you can't be in that clutch situation if your team is not backing you up.
Of course.
Like Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley said this. He was talking about how he sacrificed his game to make it easier for Michael Jordan. And he said a lot of players sacrifice their game for the stars to do better. So then they sacrifice their game. They box people out. They get the rebound and all that. Michael Jordan has the opportunity to take the clutch shot. He makes it. He gets all the respect. That's not fair.
Hey, man. The one thing, I'm not going to say the one thing, but I agree with you when you said that I'm going to pick and choose what's clutch for me. And I agree to that. I'm not going to act like I do it accidentally or that I'm trying to shit on somebody else's opinion. I have my personal reasons of why I like certain players, whether it was during my growing up years or during my gambling years. What do you think about Pete Rose? Was he one of the greatest all time or no?
Of course. I don't know any baseball fan who would ever say Pete Rose was not one of the greatest of all time. I didn't even know that was is that a thing? I didn't even know that.
I mean, for people nowadays, like
you know who he picks as the. I found this video just a little while ago. He passed away. Yeah, you know who he picked as the number one baseball player of all time?
Hank Aaron.
No, Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. Okay, Pete. All right. I didn't expect that from Pete, but Pete his game was sort of a little bit like the Babe a little bit. As far as being left hand, well, Pete was switch hitter, but he was sweet from the left hand side.
By the way, Kev Mack, what is up with his chat room? Austin wrote Pete Rose trash. Good night. What is that? What is this?
See, that's what I was going to tell you. These young guys don't know Pete Rose.
Oh, I'm young too. I know Pete Rose. I mean, Pete Rose is one of the most famous baseball players of all time.
Yeah, he was great. I had that argument with Austin, Texas, a couple weeks ago.
I bet you, Kev. I bet you. Well, I shouldn't bet, especially a guy like you, because you seem to be, from what you tell me, you're good at betting. But I bet you these people in the chat room who are saying things like Pete Rose is trash and all that, I bet you they're probably Michael Jordan fans. Ask them who's the greatest NBA player of all time. Because most people who do this, who shit on one era and act like people in the past sucked, they were all skinny, white boys, 6'6", and all that, those are mostly Michael Jordan fans. I never heard a Barry Bonds fan say something like that, or a Willie Mays fan say that, or a Muhammad Ali fan saying that, or Jackie Robinson fan saying that. It's usually Michael Jordan fans. I'm telling you, man. You know why, right? Because they're brainwashed by the media. The media keeps telling them the real. You know who Max Kellerman is? Do you know who Max Kellerman on ESPN is?
No, but they say you act like you sound like him.
Oh, they said I sound like Max Kellerman?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's weird. All right. Well, anyway, Max Kellerman and Stephen A. Smith, by the way, these are big time Michael Jordan lovers. They both say things like the real NBA started in 1980, 1979. The modern NBA started in 1979, 1980. Oh, Bill Russell got 11 rings, but those don't really count. They do things like this that brainwash a lot of people, and these suckers in the audience just go, yup. The NBA back then sucked, and it started in 1979, 1980, and then they started going by rings, and then this became a thing in football. In football, nobody used to go by rings usually. Like nobody usually said this wide receiver is better than this wide receiver because he has more Super Bowl rings. But it became a thing because of Michael Jordan fans. Now they start saying how many rings Tom Brady has, how many rings Joe Montana has. And now they're doing it in baseball. Who has more World Series and all that? I'm telling you, man, Michael Jordan fans are the ones who started doing this more than anyone else, and they are the worst sports fans of all time.
Hey, I'll say this, if you're old enough to remember, because you're right. You bring up a good point about rings. However, there may be a guy that slipped through the cracks. You don't remember. They used to always talk about Dan Marino's rings.
Yep, that's true. You're right. That's true. I don't say, just to clarify, I don't say no one ever brought up rings ever. Yeah. But you know this. Most people didn't go around in any sport, hockey, soccer, football, wrestling. Oh, this guy's better than that guy because he has more rings. This became a thing with NBA, particularly Michael Jordan. 6 rings, 6-0, 6 for 6, no game 7. And they've been repeating this shit for years and years and years. And now it's become a thing. Now, how many rings Kevin Durant has? How many LeBron James have? How many does Tom Brady have? And so on.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But I think it's remarkable that Jordan played in 6 championships and didn't lose any. He's a tough guy, and he got away with some calls.
Kev, let me ask you, Kev, how do you lose in the NBA Finals when you lost earlier?
How do you lose when you lost earlier?
Right.
What do you
mean? In other words, when you say he's undefeated, let's say
in the finals.
Right. I got you. Let's say I skip past the part where, it's a team game. It's not him winning by himself. Let's just skip past. I'm going to skip past that. Not let's say I'm going to skip past that. Let's skip past that. I am going to skip past that. But how do you lose in the NBA Finals when you lose earlier? Like if he lost in the first round or second round or third round, he can't lose in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, that's true. But how many people can win 6 titles, though? Let's not get away from that.
A lot of people. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did it. Bill Russell did it.
That's not a lot of people.
Well, no, I'll name them. Kareem did it. John Havlicek did it. Bill Russell did it. There's many more who won a lot. And then the few people who won 5 rings, that's only one less, and they went to more finals. That counts for something.
Coaching is a major factor too. A lot of times coaching is a major factor because when it's the biggest game, he wins, hence 6-0. And
Michael Jordan. So you're basically I know you're not saying this. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
I'm reading a comment, but that is what I was alluding to earlier.
Right? Yeah, no, I know you agreed. But you're basically going to tell people it's better to lose before you get to the finals, because if you lose earlier, it won't be held against you, because once you get to the finals, now we're going to say, look, you're undefeated. In other words, it was good that Michael Jordan lost a bunch of times before he got to the finals, because now he had no chance to lose in the finals.
Well, I think at this point you're being very technical, but
but that's not technical. No, if you're going to talk about wins and losses, why not talk about wins and losses? Why eliminate all the other rounds and just focus on the last round?
Because those are the ones that count the most. People are there to win, and rings are always, championships are always celebrated. That's why they put the things up in the rafters. This is why people's pay go up. This is why people get to the Hall of Fame. This is why people get trophies, MVP of the final.
No, that's not true. There's a lot of people in the history of sports who won rings and didn't make that much money.
Well, I'm saying, they had bad managers. When you start doing all these things, building up all these accolades, you become worth more money. That's why we sitting here talking about this. This man don't think about me and you. He don't talk about us. We talking about him.
That's right. But I'm only talking about him because, no offense, you guys are always like trying to market him all the time.
Not me, but yeah, I love Jordan. I love Jordan more so because of his uh his clothing, his shoes, and his clothing. But
Oh, by the way,
again, he won me a lot of money.
I had
He
a,
gave me
I
a
had a
lot of interest in watching the NBA. He's been a great businessman. Not too many black men has done what Jordan did in business wise, and he happens to be a gambler. So I mean, I just like the man, but
no,
I
no,
think
I got no issue if you like him personally, but when you talk about him being the greatest of all time, or
one of
he,
the
or
greatest.
okay, one of the greatest, or he won games, or he came through in the clutch better than anyone else, and all that, he lost earlier. That's not a technicality. If you talk about wins and losses, you can't lose in the finals if you lose earlier. You're basically saying, I'm not going to count the first round, second round, and third round. I'm just going to count the fourth round. It doesn't make any sense.
Again, I think you're being too technical
Oh,
on that.
but technical is like tomato. That's technical. You to get to the
Same
finals,
thing. Same thing.
but no, but to get to the finals, you have to get past the first round, second round, and third round. It's not a wrestling match. You have to get there. Like there's no main event, and here's the main event. Did you win or lose? You have to get there. How do you get there if you lose?
Well, even though you don't like the LeBron comparisons, LeBron's got there. You still got to win it though.
That's right. No, but he lost earlier. Like, why don't you count his
He
losses
lost
earlier?
earlier, and he lost in the finals.
No, but I'm saying Michael Jordan lost earlier. Why don't you count
Okay,
those?
okay. Let's just say this: Jordan is on the biggest stage of an NBA season, and he comes through every time.
Well, no, actually, you can find lots of games where he didn't come through.
In a series, he's come through every time.
Oh no,
six and 0 says it all.
Most Hall of Famers who are in the finals, they eventually come through. There's hardly any Hall of Famer who was consistently not good in the finals. They can all if you can play, you can play. But again, he lost earlier. If anyone's being technical, man, it's you because you're just ignoring the first three rounds and going to the fourth one. That's very technical.
Yeah, I guess those are more memorable games and more.
That's true. That's true.
More, and those are the biggest games of any NBA season.
So you know what? So here's the message for all you youngins: don't go to the finals. Lose earlier. Then you don't have to get the blame for losing in the finals.
Really? Tell Manny Machado that.
But the same thing in baseball. One guy, by the way, let's go to that topic, man. One guy doesn't win and lose. You know that.
Yeah, I do know that. But still, there's a guy that hits a walk-off home run. There's a guy that hits a grand slam when his team is down by 3. Right. There's a guy that gets on base in order to keep the game alive so he can score. So, yeah, it is a team game, but there are players that step up.
That's right. No, that's right. And for Michael Jordan to make that clutch shot and to make sure he had one-on-one coverage, he had to have teammates who were a threat. He had to have a coach who run the play. He had to have someone who get the rebound and all that. If he just played by himself, he would lose every time.
And one or two guys, usually one guy is elected captain. It's usually one guy that's going to win the finals award or MVP award.
But that finals MVP award,
I think we're arguing, like you said, tomato. I think this is the same thing.
No, that finals MVP award, that is one of the most biggest gimmicks award ever. Like think about this, man. Think about this. Who's supposed to win that award? You have to first be on a team that goes to the finals.
You have to do good in order to at least be considered to win that award.
No, but hang on. Then you have to be on a team that wins the finals, usually. Then it's automatically going to go to the number one player. Like, who else is going to get the award?
No, it's not.
Usually it does. Like, they're not going to give it to Dennis Rodman, especially Michael Jordan makes them a lot of money. He's the most famous NBA player of all time. In those days, he was like one of the most famous people on the planet. He still is. He was like a big marketing guy. They market him a lot. They're not going to say, okay, everyone, let's give it to Dennis Rodman. Like, it's automatically going to be him. He's the best player.
So let me bring you back to something before I get out of here. I mean, we could still go 10 minutes, but
good show, by the way.
When you asked me about Max Kellerman, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's how you say, I'm reading his name in the chat. So you notice I didn't know who he was. I had no clue who he was.
Yeah, he's a Michael
So
Jordan lover.
this is why I say I put myself in a different category. The TV cannot brainwash me. I don't even watch ESPN and all that shit unless a game is on.
Let me ask you this, Kev.
Yeah.
If you're not influenced by all these media places, if you say that, okay, let me ask you,
Yeah.
then that is a big coincidence that you think a lot of things that they think. That's too much of a coincidence.
Well, it could be a coincidence. Ain't nothing
too
wrong
much.
with coincidences.
If it
Number
was
two-
if it was one or two,
Hold
yeah,
on,
go ahead.
I'll let you talk. Let me talk.
Okay. No, I was saying, go ahead. Yeah.
Number two, I just said I only watch if a game is on. So maybe I heard some announcers saying some things, maybe, but I don't watch. I don't watch a regular sports show. I just don't do it. I don't watch the pregame when they picking players and picking who's gonna win. I don't do that unless it's a college football game, and I'm just up for the game to start. And I see them picking who they pick.
If you don't watch the game, and you're not influenced by the media, how would you know for years and years and years that the game today is soft and not as physical and not as tough and all that? You have to either watch the games or learn from the media. There's no other way.
I just said I watched the games.
Oh, you do watch the game? Okay, too. So
I've been telling you I was watching the games when I bought satellites in the 80s.
No, I'm talking about today's NBA. You don't watch today's NBA.
I watch the games. I don't watch ESPN and those sports shows.
Okay. So then here's a logical question. How come when people talk about today's NBA the way you do, how come most of them are Michael Jordan fans?
I don't know, bro. You got a hard on for Michael Jordan fans, man.
You got a hard on for Michael Jordan.
I'm a Jordan fan, but I'm a fan of other players too, and I don't feel like everything you're saying fits me.
We went through this. I never said you don't like anyone else. We went through this, remember?
Yeah, I mean, but I'm a big Kobe fan. You know whose jersey Kobe wore and whose shoes Kobe wore to the finals game?
No, but remember, we went through this. I never said you don't like anyone else. But there's a certain type of... It's like if I told you Donald Trump is the greatest president of all time and the media is after him and all Democrats are stupid and all those things that Donald Trump fans say, you would say that's a Donald Trump fan. So when you say certain things about winning and 6-0 and the game is soft and all that, these are things that only Michael Jordan fans say. Jerry West fans don't say this. Babe Ruth fans don't say it. Muhammad Ali fans don't say it, and so on.
Well, let me say this. Because earlier we agreed that really doesn't happen with anybody else. But when you talk about Joe Biden, Donald Trump, you talk about Kamala Harris, Donald Trump. So there are other people who are fans of people that do the same shit. I think it's just a natural progression in life.
I think the progression part, I agree. But all the details of what Michael Jordan fans say, it doesn't happen anywhere else in basketball or any other sport. If I'm wrong, give me an example of where someone in any sport would say these type of things. You could find one or two examples because things happen in random reasons, coincidences, but all the things put together, it doesn't happen in soccer or boxing or baseball or anyone else. It's usually Michael Jordan fans. Have you ever heard a baseball fan say Willie Mays is better than Hank Aaron because he has more World Series, or he came through in the clutch more, or his era was tougher, or anything like that?
No. Very rarely. Very, very rarely.
It never happens. I wouldn't even say rarely. It never happens.
I've heard a lot of people kind of compare them as being on the same level. But Hank Aaron would get the nod from most people. I agree.
Some people would say one is better than the other. That I'm not talking about that. But the reason is not, oh, he got more rings, or he came through in the clutch with scoring, or his arrows and all that. So you have to ask yourself a logical question. I know you're going to say, I don't know, and that's fine if you don't know, but you got to be logical. If there's one group of people in all of sports doing these things, either that's a weird coincidence or there's something else going on. And I'm telling you, there's something else going on. And what is that thing? It's always two things. Either they grew up with Michael Jordan in the 1980s and 1990s, so they have a bias and they're brainwashed by that time, or they didn't grow up in that time, but they're learning from the media. They're learning from older Michael Jordan fans.
Well, I think you're leaving one thing out. Something my mother used to always tell me. I'm not saying it's true, but this is what she used to tell me. If everybody's saying it, then it's probably true.
Well, then I guess by this logic, anytime everybody says something is true, you as a black man should know the problem with that.
Yeah, I do know the problem, but you know the funny part about that is now you hear Donald Trump talking like a black man. Because Donald Trump, now he's saying the same thing blacks been saying since the 60s.
What's that?
That this government ain't shit. They're attacking me. That type of stuff.
But to be fair though, like I'm sure your mom will vouch for this. Whenever you grew up, they always saying things: the government bad, this, the country bad, that, things are going down the drain, and all that, right?
Yeah.
I never remember. Remember, you asked me basically my age range.
But you don't think the country's going down, and we have a felon that could possibly be president?
Oh no, I'm not a Donald. I think Republican. Look at my screen name.
I know, but I'm asking you a question. I'm not asking, are you a Republican?
No, I got you. No, I just want. I'm going to answer your question. I just want to confirm Republicans are worse than Democrats, and I'm not a Donald Trump fan. But to answer your question, it depends. In some ways, things are getting bad. In some ways, they're getting better. In some ways, they're the same.
So it's cool that we can all of a sudden have a possible felon president, right?
No, but that part, where'd you get that from? I said I'm not a Donald Trump fan.
Yeah,
of course it's bad. I don't want Donald Trump to win. He's terrible.
But you didn't give a direct answer on if this country is going to shit.
Because it depends.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Is it
we have a felon president?
No, I don't understand the connection. Like I understand that you think that it's cool to get a felon president. That part I get, and I understand if you said I didn't give a direct answer. That part I get, but how do you connect those two together? Like if I say it depends, how does that mean I'm okay?
This is how. See now, I was questioning my own intelligence early on, but now I have to question yours. What I'm saying is,
you gotta be mean about it, right?
Because you don't understand what I'm trying to tell you.
No, I understand. I don't think you understand, but okay.
So I don't understand what I'm trying to explain to you.
I mean, I do think maybe I got to question your intelligence. I said it depends. How does that mean I'm okay with the felon getting president?
No, you don't understand. Because if you are a felon president, how many presidents have we had before that won the presidency with felonies?
We had slave owners who were presidents.
Was that a felony?
That's worse.
Was it a felony?
I don't know. It was probably legal to have slaves, so I guess it was not a felony.
You don't want to answer my question.
I just did. I answered. I said I'm guessing
you don't know.
No, but you missed what I said after that. I said after that, I'm guessing it wasn't a felony because it was legal.
Oh, okay. Well, correct. So now we have a guy with a bunch of felonies.
But now who's being technical, by the way?
Oh, wow. So because I'm saying a guy with felonies can be president.
No, you know what I'm saying. If they were slave owners who were presidents, but it wasn't illegal because it wasn't a felony. They were still doing
rules changed in NBA like laws changed in America.
No, but come on, Kevin. If they're presidents who had slaves, but it was legal. But you can't then say, well, it wasn't a felony. You're going on a technicality. It was still a felony type of thing.
It was legal back then.
So slave. Are you one of those black people who say slavery is okay if it's legal?
No, I'm one of those people that say you used to hit people head on in the NFL, but you can't do that now. The rules changed, the game changed.
Okay, but the game hasn't changed that much where the players are so different. That's what I'm saying.
Well, slavery hasn't changed that much, and black people are still poorer than most white people, and black people are still going to prison in large rates for things that white people won't go to jail for, carrying weed.
I'm pretty sure if black people from the slave days were alive today, they would not say it's equally the same. Or sorry, no, you didn't say that. Sorry, they wouldn't say it hasn't changed that much.
Maybe. But that's my opinion, man. And thanks for coming on. Thanks for the dialogue and back and forth. Is
that it, man? Is that it, man? It was a good phone call. Is that it?
Yeah, I'm gone, man. It was good. I thought it was good, but I'm not finna sit on here for 2 hours.
No, I understand. You want to go back on my show and
we could.
Okay. But I just want to point out, man, you were pretty nice to me, but there were a couple of times here and there you got a little bit negative, and I didn't do that with you, man, until you did it,
Negative maybe, but I don't think I ever insulted you or put you down, did I?
Well, actually, I didn't say that, but now that you brought it up, you did kind of say I got to question your intelligence and all that.
Oh yeah, and you said the same about me. So
But
it's
after you did it,
even
that's what I'm
Steven,
saying. I
right?
did it after you did it, you know.
Even Steven, right?
But after you did
But
it, you
that's
know.
how you really felt because you said it.
No, I mean, no. But I try not to think like that about people if they're
I,
nice to
I,
me.
I try not to either, but you couldn't understand that I was saying a person with a bunch of felonies could be president of the United States shows that we ain't that country that we once
No,
was. And
I don't.
you had a problem agreeing with that.
No,
So
I think you took it the wrong way, man. I definitely don't want him to win. I'm not for a felony winning. I don't know why you think I'm okay with a felony being
because
president.
you couldn't admit that the country is losing its.
I'm telling you, man, you took it the wrong way. You're assuming things. I'm making it very clear. I'm not a Donald Trump fan. I think Republicans
I
are worse than
understand that it
Democrats.
wasn't about you being a Trump fan. It
No,
was a question about America.
no, but you got to put the whole piece together. If I'm saying all these things and I clearly am telling you I don't want him to win, I don't want a felony to win, you can't ignore all that and say you couldn't answer the question.
Man,
Come on, man. Come on, man. And by the way, you're gonna say that slavery was okay because there wasn't a felony, or well, you didn't say that. You were making
I
it seem
never
like
said that. I
no,
said it
no,
was legal.
I
But
changed it. I changed it. You were saying it's not a felony, but that's a technicality. It's still a horrible thing, and I know you know that. But why would you say, well, it's not a felony? Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's okay, right?
I never said it was okay. I'm saying it was legal though.
Right. So actually, when I said to you,
Just
when I was
like
asking,
hitting somebody helmet to helmet, it was legal, right?
right, but well, before we get to the football, just to stick with slavery
So
thing.
we're not going to say they were attempted murder or they murderers because they was
well, let me just
handing out concussions.
When I was asking you, just because it was not illegal doesn't make it okay, right? I wasn't asking you like I'm not sure. I know slavery was wrong, and just because it's not a felony doesn't mean it's okay. But what I'm asking you is, when you say it wasn't a felony, what's the point of saying that? Because you know it's wrong, and why don't you admit you're going by a technicality?
If that's what it is, that's what it is.
Remember, you said I was going by a technicality, but I wasn't. But now you're going by a technicality. Then
you say we're brainwashed by the media, so I'm not going to let you brainwash me into saying what you want.
I do think either you are having a bias because of the time you grew up,
I admit I'm biased.
You did, and or you are influenced by the media. I believe you when you say you don't pay attention to all the media, you don't watch all, like you don't get all the information from them, you watch the games and all that. I believe you, but I do think the media has played a role in how they've influenced you by many examples I could give you.
Okay, we'll do it another night.
Okay. Oh, time for one more thing, or you got to go?
Go ahead, one more.
Okay. You know how you said a little while ago when you were about to leave, you're like, I gave you my opinion or whatever you said. I don't have the exact words. And earlier you said the same thing about opinion. I'm not trying to be going by technicality. I'm not trying to act like I'm a teacher schooling you or educating you. I'm just telling you something. A lot of these points you're making are not opinions. They're claims. And I'll tell you the difference. If you said, in my opinion, this donut is better than that donut, you're not right or wrong. It's an opinion, right? But
right.
if you claim there's aliens on Mars, that's not an opinion. That's a claim. You're saying this is true, so you got to prove it. So where I'm going with this is this. A lot of things you brought up are not opinions. You're making claims, and you're not proving it because there is no proof. But then, and a lot of Michael Jordan fans do this. They'll make a claim, and then they'll go, well, it's all opinion anyway. But it's not. It's claims.
Well, let me tell you something. In the court of law, there's been many people convicted of murder.
Mm-hmm.
What was the proof when these dudes did not commit the murder? So those are just claims, right?
Okay. No. If you're telling me black people and other people have been put in jail when they shouldn't, I agree with you.
About black, you said,
and I said other people too. Other people too. I was saying, I agree with you.
So I don't really see a big difference. If that's how I feel, and that's what I believe in, that's what it is. But a claim versus a fact, weird, because in the court of law, those are not facts. Just not evidence. Those are just.
But I'm not defending the court system in America. A lot of people are not treated fairly in America, especially black people.
Defend your position as far as opinion versus fact. Then.
Okay. I'll try this. If someone said, in my opinion, you are the best podcaster on YouTube, they're not right or wrong. It's an opinion.
No, they right. They right.
Okay.
They right.
Okay. Right. Okay. Now, but you get what I'm saying. I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
rude to you. I'm just giving you a
Yeah.
random example. Now, if they said to you, in my opinion, you're Japanese, you see the problem there?
I get that all the time now.
Okay, then that was a bad example. Okay. So if they said, in my opinion, you're Mexican, you see the problem there?
I get that too though.
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying, man. Come on, man.
Kev, ask dude, does he gamble? God damn it. Let's get him in this web and take his money.
By the way, I want to say something to all you chat warriors out there, you online smart guys and online tough guys and online princes. If any of you really believe you're right and I'm wrong on whatever you disagree on, or you really believe any of the strange things you type are true, don't tell me you're right. Prove to me you're right. If you want to debate me one-on-one on my show, send me an email and I'll set it up. Now, if you don't go on, that's okay. I'm not knocking you. I don't knock anybody for not wanting to come on. But if you're going to start drama and be rude, be a jerk, and overall act negative, and then you don't prove anything on my program, then that means you're too scared to go on. And if you're too scared, it's because you know you got no proof on any of the ridiculous things you disagree on. Like, in other words, you got no proof that you're right on anything you disagree on, and you got no proof that any of the strange things you type are true. So you lost. And when you act like you're winning, you're making a fool of yourself then.
Okay. 2 questions for you before you leave. If you can, keep them short. Are you willing to answer 2 questions?
I'm open-minded.
Who do you like in the Liberty game?
I don't even know what that is. What is that? College football? Is that a college game?
He might. It's either the college football or he's talking about the WNBA.
Okay, I thought. Right. It could be WNBA. I was thinking college football, but it could be WNBA. I'm not much of a college football fan. I'm not much of a football fan. I think football should be banned, and I'm not much of a WNBA fan.
All right, last question. Why do you hate Michael Jordan so much?
See what I mean? I told you. This is what they do. You know what I mean? Have you ever heard a Jerry West fan say, "Oh, you don't pick Jerry West as the greatest NBA player of all time? Oh, how come you're a Jerry West hater?" This is what Michael Jordan fans do all the time.
All right, man. How we gonna hook up? You gonna email me or what?
I mean,
No. Give me the site again.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's the Universe Galaxy NBA. It's a really popular page. You can go on Google and find out how many people written articles on my videos. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just giving some points out there. I'm just giving some information out there.
All right, I got you. All right, I'll check in.
Send me an email, man. Most people, by the way, who tell me they want to go on, they don't go on. They tell me they're going to email me. They don't email me. Bro, if you want to go on, you're welcome on my show. Send me an email. Let's set it up then.
All right, for sure.
Yeah. By the way, before you go.
Good night.
Oh, thank you, too. And by the way, before we go, Michael Jordan fans are the worst sports fans of all time.
That was your whole spiel, huh?
I'm just kind of joking around.
Okay.
All right, man. Good night.
All right. That's it for the night, man. I'm glad somebody came on. You know what I mean? A lot of you guys I asked to come on, y'all won't come on. So at least he had the balls to come on. Hey, we need watch hours. But I thank you guys, man. You guys stayed up in here for an hour and a half. Appreciate you guys. I didn't give out no picks, huh? What game did you guys want? Somebody asked me about a game. What game was that somebody asked me about? A college game or something? Damn. I got thrown off, you guys. Special guest. Oh, well, I don't see the game you guys asked me about, but y'all take it easy. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Oh, you